TGIF everyone, weather for Weather Geeks time. This is the Mahoning and Shenango Valley's most in-depth, crazy in-depth weather video. We really take a deep dive usually into our local weather in this video, the stuff I can't show you on TV because I just don't have time. And, you know, some of this stuff can fly above people's heads a little bit. And for this video, weather enthusiasts, weather weenies, weather geeks tend to be able to, you know, kind of digest this information a little better than those who just have a passing interest in the weather. But if your business depends on the weather, if you need more weather information than you can find in a TV newscast, I do think that most of the time you'll find this video useful as well. We do this Monday through Friday, and of course occasionally some weekend editions as needed. All right, we're going to take a long look at next week's storm, which is our next winter weather maker. But first, a little review of what happened last night. I graded the snowfall forecast this morning on my social media accounts. I gave our impact forecast an A. We talked about, hey, the roads aren't going to be bad. In fact, roads will be generally just wet. Your morning commute will be fine. School adjustments will be very, very minimal, and all that was right. The actual snow accumulations, I gave it a C+, maybe B-. We did pretty well in the far north, but it did accumulate a little more than I thought it would. In southern Trumbull, southern Mercer, Mahoning, and Columbiana, some places had 4.5 inches worth of snow last night. So, in my judgment, it overachieved a little bit, and so didn't give our forecast a great grade for the actual accumulation forecast. But nonetheless, it was beautiful. It was the best kind of snow, non-impactful but beautiful. Look at this picture in stunning HD from a drone. Sent in to us by David. This is down in East Liverpool, right along the river. Look at the snow sticking to the trees. That's fantastic. And then we got another just amazing shot, like a postcard shot from Lake Glacier here. Thanks to Leslie who sent this in. Not our Leslie, not Leslie Barrett, but Leslie has her own photography business, and she sent in this fantastic picture, again, of the snow sticking to the tree limbs and the branches. The water's calm. Some decorative cumulus clouds. I mean, that's one of the best weather pictures we've gotten in the last couple of years. Just beautiful. All right, when it snows in March, a lot of times we talk about the sun angle. We talk about this when it snows in like late October as well. The sun is getting stronger and stronger, higher in the sky. So when it snows at night, of course, it usually has no trouble sticking, especially to non-paved surfaces. But once the sun comes out, the sun angle back in January was about 28 degrees. That's pretty low in the sky. And so on a bright and sunny day after a snowfall, little of the snow might melt, depending on the temperature, of course, but assuming it's a cold day, a little of the snow might melt. But today we had temperatures in the 20s, but the sun's getting high in the sky. The sun angle now 45 degrees above the horizon. So especially south-facing lawns today, the melting was pretty impressive considering how cold it was. It was no better than 26 or 27 a lot of the afternoon. So the sun angle is very, very important, and this was part of the reason why the snow did not stick on the roads last night. We've had warm weather recently, that strong sun really warming up the pavement. And so the snow, unless it really came down hard, didn't have much of a chance to stick last night, even with temperatures around freezing. It wasn't quite cold enough, and it didn't snow quite hard enough for that, and we're thankful for that. So pretty non-impactful. And speaking of non-impactful, just a flurry in a few spots this evening. Nothing really to write home about here. Could be a few random flakes into early tomorrow morning. Our focus in the next couple of days, the cold. Not super windy tonight, but a breeze nonetheless, and so the wind chills will be close to 0 at the start of the day. Wind chills tomorrow not much better than 10 to 12, and then it's back to the single digits for Sunday morning. So this weekend, even though it's going to be a tranquil weekend weather-wise, will be notable for the cold. This cold, of course, much more typical of the dead of winter rather than the tail end of the season. All right, let's start focusing on next week. Now, the focus here is Monday night through Tuesday night, even parts of Wednesday. We're gonna show you the models in just a second, but this is what I've been showing this afternoon and this evening. This has a good chance to be a big-time storm. I mean, like, you know, shutting down cities for a day kind of a storm. In eastern PA, over up into New England, so maybe as far south as D.C., certainly Philadelphia, New York City, Boston are all in the zone where this could be a whopper of a snowstorm. Scranton, Allentown, Binghamton, Albany, all those places could have lots and lots of snow. For us, it's not going to be like that. It's not any sort of crippling storm. But I do think it'll be enough that need to be shoveled. We might need to plow. It'll depend on temperatures during the day Tuesday a lot. If temperatures get up to freezing in March, during the day, the snow might have a hard time sticking again on the roads. So all those are things that kind of are yet to be determined. But I do think that we will see snow flying, certainly. It's just a matter of how much will stick and what the impacts will be on Tuesday and, again, even into parts of Wednesday. So let's show you the GFS model here. This is the latest GFS. Basically what we have going on is a storm comes out into the Ohio Valley, and then it's going to transfer its energy over to a coastal low. This is something we see a lot of times with big nor'easters, a handoff of energy from a low over the Ohio Valley over to a low on the East Coast. I think, we're obviously going to get most of our snow from the Ohio Valley low. For us, the amounts will depend on how fast this transfer occurs. Sometimes when a transfer of energy occurs, we get into like a kind of a rip-off zone almost, cutting down on snow totals. These are things we don't know yet. It's not totally outside of the realm of possibility that the 32-degree line gets awfully close to here on Tuesday, and that would certainly have an impact on the totals. But by Tuesday afternoon, as you can see, that coastal low is really blasting off, and the Ohio Valley low pretty much gets absorbed into the coastal low. So this is Tuesday afternoon. It'll be just snowing to beat the band in New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Providence, over to Albany. And this far to the west, it could be snowing lightly to moderately. And we could see residual snow and snow flurries and snow showers into Tuesday night, even into parts of Wednesday. And as this storm continues to crank over New England, it'll be really windy back here on Wednesday. So that's the overall setup. Now, as far as what the models are spitting out, at this range, we don't talk about numbers in an official forecast, certainly. We're just too far out. We like to rely on what we call ensemble modeling. The kind of I've described this before. If you're a little new to this idea, ensemble modeling is basically taking a parent model and tweaking it a bunch of times and running it a bunch of times and seeing what those tweaks do to the final outcome. And then we like to take an average of all those. Here's a look at the GFS ensemble total snow. That hot pink area over to our east and in eastern and central PA over into New England, that's generally speaking 8, 9, 10 inches, 12 inches or more. So that's the GFS. Here's the European, same idea. This is the ensemble mean. And as you can see, big time amounts to our east. Now back here, we're kind of in the blue colors here on the European and back here on the GFS as well. Both models suggesting that our amounts are likely to be under 6 inches with this. And we can take a look at some model probabilities here as well. Here's the European model odds of 3 inches or more. As you can see, obviously the odds are higher to our east, but they're decent here. These yellow and kind of orange colors, as you can see on the scale above my head, those generally represent 60 to 80% odds of 3 inches or more. That's on the European model. And then here's the odds of more than, or I should say of 6 inches or more. And as you can see, our odds drop pretty significantly, down to maybe 10 to 30% chance of 6 inches or more. Big time strong signal, though, over in New England. Very high odds of 6 inches or more there. And actually, if I showed you the odds of 12 inches or more, they're really impressive in New England as well. So for us, kind of what I'm thinking right now is this is not a huge storm, but it's probably enough to measure and certainly enough to shovel your driveway and your sidewalk at least. And on the higher end of possibilities, it could be a pretty decent snowstorm, several inches worth of snow. I think that's the high end. Kind of several. Right now a 6-inch plus storm doesn't seem all that likely, but we got a long way to go on this. So stay tuned for the latest forecasts on that storm. Again, not giving you any sort of official forecast. I'm just sort of giving you a heads up as to what the current thinking is. The current thinking is also that the rest of March we're going to struggle to get mild again. Here's a look at the latest climate modeling for days 5 to 10, days 8 to 13. Days 10 to 15, blue over the east, cooler than average. So I think March has a good chance of ending up as a cooler than average month. We've only seen 2 of those since the start of last year. And there's a good chance March will end up cooler than February. That's pretty amazing. So if you're hoping for an early spring, February is just a tease. March is not looking very mild from here on out. So not great news for me anyway. I was hoping we would just launch right into spring. Anyway, more updates, of course, throughout the evening on our wind chills, and I'll be touching base on social media over the weekend with regards to next week's snow event. Make sure you're following Andrew and Candace on social media. They'll be here in the downtown studios both tomorrow